Hi everyone, Dennis Foley from Acoustic Fields. Today we're in our multiple channel facility and doing some videos after an 18-month journey chasing response, working with diffusion on the rear wall and stuff like that. So I wanted to go back to the diffusion part of it and tell you what we started with. So here's a photo of the back wall with just absorption. Now that's our foam technology with wood frames around it. It's our foam panel. You all can build it yourself out there and buy the foam and build it. The foam is not really rigid enough to stand on its own in its full 6-foot length, so you put a wood frame around it for support. Nothing fancy, doesn't have any impact on performance. Paint it if you like. I use them in here in the studio because I can carry them. I can stand them against surfaces because I'm moving things all the time. But we used a series of panels on the rear wall, and you can see in this pic, different depths. I just really took all the foam that was extra in the studio and put it on the rear wall. Wanted to bring reverb times down as low as I could. And then we started with a single row of diffusion after we listened to absorption. We got good definition, good sound stage, but it was more focused and defined like a 2-channel system. It wasn't like big and defined like a theater should be. So it was more like music focus, 2-channel focus, strong center image, not a lot of height, not a lot of width, definitely not enough for a theater situation, okay? But great resolution. We have really great resolution with one row. Then we put the second row in. Now, you'll notice also this is one-dimensional diffusion. We started with 2-dimension, and I'll walk through that later about why that's the choice. 1-dimension will spread things out for you, separate the instruments without any loss of resolution. So when we do our designs, we try to get resolution as the highest we can with absorption, and then we actually go a little bit lower than, oh, that's a little bit dead. Okay, that's fine. Is the resolution still there? Yes, the resolution's wonderful. Okay, now we bring in diffusion. When we brought in the second row, I couldn't believe it. The whole room opened up. It sounded like it was 35 foot wide, where before it sounded like it was 10, 15. Now it sounds 35 foot wide. And not height, but just the width was really good. Then, so I would say going from row 1 of diffusion, like ear level, you can see, and then row 2, I would say there was like 100% improvement between the two. Then we went to row 3. What did that do? Kept everything that we got with row 2, the nice wide soundstage, but height now. Oh my gosh. This room does not have a ceiling. You can't hear it. It's 15 feet away, so you're not going to hear it that much anyway, but you really can't hear it. If I blindfolded you and brought you in this room and played some stuff for you, said how far away is the ceiling, you wouldn't guess. You wouldn't guess 15, you'd guess 20, 25. I used to do that in my theater or my studio in North Hollywood. Blindfold people, bring them in, play a couple songs, because we had diffusion on the ceiling. How far away is the ceiling? 12, 13, 14. It was 9. So that's the power of diffusion. So when we added row 3 here, height came into play. So the room doesn't sound like it has a ceiling, and it doesn't sound like it has sidewalls. And boy, isn't that the goal with theater? And that's what diffusion does. It takes a smaller room and makes it sound larger. It's a layman's way of describing, what goes on with quadratic diffusion and the way it operates and its design parameters. But this is the way to go. We started with absorption because you need a baseline. Then we started with the single row of diffusion, then row 2. Row 2 is where the real magic happened. So you can see probably in this video row 1 behind me and then the other 2 above it. So this ear level, this domain here for diffusion is real critical. But up here, oh my gosh. The difference between row 1 and row 2 was night and day. I think I sat here for I shut the phone off and sat here for 4 hours and listened to all my old reference sources that I go by. Every one was bigger. Every one was larger, and there was more space between the instruments and more resolution. So it's really cool. How did we decide on the width? Well, I had 24 in the shop, so that's what we used, 3 rows of 8. And I think that's good because that extends past the left and the right channel. So you have the left channel, left center, and right channel, all in the domain of the diffusion for the rear wall. So there's a rear wall example of quadratic. One-dimensional will actually add some color, if you will, to the presentation value. Two-dimensional diffusion is just for non-localization. You want to make the wall disappear. That's what 2D does. And it also works in smaller distance requirements than 1D. But 1D will actually add some color. Tone, if you will. It's the wrong word, but I think you get the idea. There's a colorization to it, and that's not a bad word. You know, that's a good word when it comes to acoustics. So that's our journey for the rear wall diffusion. Now, what are we going to do next? It's still not over. I'm probably not going to do diffusion on the ceiling because we got 15-foot ceilings. Hopefully our new facility's at 20 feet. So I'm not going to mess with diffusion at those heights, scaffolding and installation and all of that. We'll stick with the absorption with the foam. But what I am going to do is do diffusion next on the sidewalls. And then we're going to do diffusion on the front wall. We've done diffusion on the rear wall. We just walked you through that. So definitely a great tool. These are 13s, prime number 13 behind us. These are our 2-foot by 2-foot modules. You can see them on our website. So this is our journey in our multiple channel room with rear wall diffusion. I hope it helps. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video, and if you liked it, please give us a thumbs up. We also have a newsletter that you can subscribe to, so please do that because we offer special price discounts to only those on our newsletter. And then don't forget about our forum. We have started a forum on our own website where people ask questions, and I usually get a chance every couple days to look at it. There's an interchange between people on the forum, and we'll give you real answers on a regular basis, so that'll help you. Thank you.